Welcome to Resource Review from here at the Science Museum in London. In this programme we aim to help you choose resources that make a real difference to your teaching. Today we'll be looking at resources for primary geography. And the resources we'll be reviewing are ACE, the Atmosphere, Climate and Environment website, and Barnaby Bear Key Activities book from the BBC. Later, with the help of our panel, we'll be reviewing how effective these resources are within primary geography. But first, let's see them in action. We visit Our Lady of Victory School in London, where Claire Benjamin is teaching her Year 1 class about recycling. The first resource she's using is the Atmosphere, Climate and Environment website, which is produced by Manchester Metropolitan University and supported by DEFRA. Let's see the resource in use.
Now today, we are learning one way that newspaper can be recycled. Now what do I mean by recycled?
My name is Claire Benjamin and I'm a newly qualified teacher teaching at Our Lady of Victories, and I'm the Year 1 teacher.
And what we are going to do today is each of us is going to make their own sheet of new recycled paper. Does that sound fun? Yeah. Fantastic. Now, on your table you're going to find a bowl of water which has shredded up newspaper in it that has been soaking overnight. So hopefully it'll be nice and easy to break up.
The first resource that I used was the Atmosphere, Climate and Environment Information Programme, supported by DEFRA, but to make it easier, the ACE website. We've been learning about recycling as part of our geography topic for this term.
We're learning about recycling.
This is the first resource from ACE that I used, and it's how to make recycled paper. It has everything that you need to carry out the lesson, and also step-by-step instructions of what to do. I think the pupils loved the hands-on activity. I think they enjoyed just getting their hands stuck into the paper pulp, and it was a really good experience for them to use the language and vocabulary related to talk about what they were doing, and they enjoyed working in the small groups, which was really beneficial for them when they're this age. In my opinion, this website is more for teachers' notes rather than for a Year 1 class. Possibly you could use the information sheets in a Year 3 class on an interactive whiteboard to go through as a whole class reading. The positive aspect of this resource is that it was simple to use and easy to navigate, and I was able to find the information quickly rather than having to hunt through books and things.
Because they're not dry, so what do you think we're going to have to do next? We're going to have to wait because our paper's not going to be ready today. It hopefully will be ready on Monday for us to take home, okay, and to do some writing on.
We've just seen the ACE website's information sheets in use to teach children how to make recycled paper. And to discuss it, we have our resource review panel. With me today are Jared Brading, Deputy Head Teacher and our Geography Specialists, Ray Barker, Director of the British Educational Suppliers Association, and Alan Mills, who's Head of Affiliation Network for the Specialist Schools Trust. Welcome to you all. So Jared, coming to you first, what are your initial thoughts of this website?
I think it's a very easy to use website. It's a very clear, very simple site. The activities and the information sheets are very easy to access. You take them through very simply. You can download them for paper copies. I like the fact there's games and puzzles that the children can play at the computer in the corner, or if you've got a computer suite, they can all play together. You can hit the trash, you can knock out alien clouds coming through, you can plug the ozone layer gap, the ozone gap. It's a very simple to use website. That's very colourful, very nice graphics, that sort of thing.
Ray, what are your thoughts of this resource?
It's a really interesting example of a website which can be used by all constituents, really, I think. So you've got here a supplementary resource. It's very much a supplementary resource for, I see it for teachers, basically, to give them the ideas. They can get the sheets, they can use these resources in their classroom. It's very much a step-by-step guide. But it's also capable of being used at home, which is a really great, great use of a website, I think. It's not just strictly educational in inverted commas, it's also fun as well. So as you said, parents could be seen to be using this at home with their kids. So it's kind of a nice link between home and school. It's what websites should be about, really.
But is this, in your opinion, Alan, just another website, or is there something distinctive about it?
I'm not absolutely sure, but I think the point that Ray made about it being primarily a teacher resource is absolutely right. But again, as Jared said, there are things that the individual student can go to. And it's a nice combination. I think the lesson we saw on the screen was clearly led by the teacher, but the resources that she found on that website obviously made it a lot easier for her. So I think it was a nice combination. It wasn't, at Key Stage 1, obviously the website is not going to be the primary source, it's going to be led by the teacher, but you seem to be able to see resources being nicely blended there. It looked attractive. I like the style of the website as well.
Okay, so to summarise the pros and cons of this resource, how would you do that?
I think the pros are that it's got something simple for what she needed the purpose for. For her purpose, it was very suitable. Lots of the website is a little bit advanced for Key Stage 1 children, but the games and activities are fun for them to do in the meantime. So it has, ups and downs.
Okay, thank you. Now let's look at the second resource and return to Our Lady of Victory's primary school. This time Claire uses Barnaby Bear Key Activities book from the BBC. She uses specific worksheets and activities to reinforce her teaching about recycling. The book is an ideal resource for Key Stage 1 geography teaching, and it provides photocopyable resources and ideas for practical workshops. So let's see how Claire got on.
Now, yesterday we looked at recycling and the different sorts of things you can recycle. We spoke about a few of them at the beginning and where we can recycle them.
The second resource that I used today was Barnaby Bear's Key Activity book by the BBC. The book covers all areas of the national curriculum for geography. It has worksheets and games that the children can complete and would also be a useful resource to send home for homework.
Jack, Stuart, Julie.
I just picked out one of the worksheets in there that covered recycling today for a plenary session.
You can use old newspaper and colour over it with paint and wrap presents up with it, couldn't you? You don't have to do everything that we did today. Well done.
I like the fact that everything's laid out in topics, so you can look at the topic that you're covering in geography and find the activity straight away. Next term we're going to be looking at the seaside, and so just flicking through, straight away I could find Barnaby seaside pictures, and just by looking at it I can tell it's going to be a really good resource either to use for geography or to send home as homework at the end of the week. I found this book extremely easy to use. The minute I opened it up I was like, wow, I wish I'd had this earlier, because it covers topics that I've done in the past and the resources would have been really useful to have. So I will definitely be using it in the future.
You could. You'd have to draw me a picture of how you would do that.
So Jared, what do you think of Barnaby Bear's Key Activities book?
I like the book. It's a nice, colourful book. It's got nice, easy worksheets. It covers a lot of the activities for Key Stage 1 geography, distant places, local area, environmental change. It's very easy to use and very handy for teachers to get out and find an activity sheet that matches what they're trying to cover. There's not a lot of emphasis put on geography at Key Stage 1, I have to say, and we're not asking the children to do a lot of written work. It's more about the children's understanding of their place in the world around them and in their local area.
Okay. What did you think of it, Ray?
It's a book of worksheets, and I think worksheets have a very bad reputation. But in fact, if they're very good, if they're really targeted, I think they're excellent for use in schools. And you'll find them in most primary school staff rooms. They're a central resource that teachers can go to when they need an idea, when they have to stand in for somebody, the last 10 minutes of a lesson, as Jared said. But I think if they're really carefully thought out, and these look to be really carefully thought out and matched to the curriculum. If you look in the front, there's all sorts of grids, there's all sorts of teacher notes. They're spot on where those particular issues are concerned, and as the teacher said on screen, they can take them home, they can talk to their parents about them, they can do that work in class. And yeah, there's always the colouring in option. I know it's a bad reputation thing in schools, but kids do like the character, they love the character, and I think if they can use the character to teach geographical principles and skills, then it's great.
So are they the the right activities to be doing at this stage?
Well, if they are matched to the curriculum, which is what they seem to be doing, it's not all they do. I think the reason why worksheets have a bad reputation is because of the death by worksheet syndrome. That's all you used to give kids. But the photocopyable now is something which is central in a school, and if it's targeted and it fulfills that particular objective and it helps the teacher do his or her job properly, then it's really easy to do that. It also is a kind of differentiated thing as well, because not all kids in class are at the same level. They're all doing different things, they're at different ability levels, and it's easier for the teacher to monitor that if that teacher knows that the sheet that they're giving that particular kid does this one very simple thing very well, and at least they know they're doing that, and I think that's a really important issue.
Okay, now Alan, are you a fan of the book or are you a Barnaby fan, or both?
Well, after this, I think I'm both. I think the joy of it is, Jared started to describe all the different topics that are covered, and there are a lot. He ran out of steam trying to remember them all, but there are a lot there. I think the joy of it is that Barnaby brings them all together, and it's important at that stage. There is a link. There's a link also to all the other resources, the videos and all the other bits and pieces that go with it. Identifiable character, a very likeable character. I think that's very important. So they were good topics. The worksheet basis of it, there's potential for misuse, but I don't think it was being used badly. Don't want to go on about the colouring yet again, but Barnaby is an obvious thing to use in that way, and it seemed to work very well. So the Barnaby link is the key thing there, and I think the way each of the topics was covered looked to me to be done very well indeed.
Okay.
So a fan, definitely.
We've looked at 2 resources so far, but now let's move on to the part of the show where we have the opportunity to discuss other resources available for primary geography. Now, Jared, as a geography expert, are there other resources that you think we should be aware of?
Yeah, the first protocol for any geography teacher in Key Stage 1, 2 or even 3 and above is the Geography Association website. They developed the stuff for Barnaby Bear in the first instance. They've got a fantastic primary geography teaching handbook, and it's the first stop to find out about our latest resources for geography and all the things that are going on in geography.
Okay. Do you have another resource?
Yep, another good one is I found recently is the Development Education Centres. Leeds has one, Hull has one, Sheffield and Yorkshire. They have a good website out there. They have poster packs from Oxfam, Save the Children Fund, for sale or rent or loan. And it's a very good stop for teachers to come and collect a resource, hire it out, send it back.
Okay. Is there any other resource you could tell us about?
Yep, Pandora Publishing have another one on your local environment, which is another easy to use set of books that the teachers can take away, change the way they want to use their lessons, take bits out and use as they want to.
Thanks. So to recap, we've seen 2 resources in use. ACE, the Atmosphere, Climate and Environment website, and Barnaby Bear Key Activities book from the BBC. So Jared, of the 2 resources that you've seen demonstrated today, which would you recommend?
I like the website. I like the information sheets from it. They're nice and colourful, easy to access. But if I was going to use a teaching resource, I'd have to choose the Barnaby Bear Key Activities book. Just 32 worksheets. They fit nicely with lots of different topics on the geography curriculum. And that would be my choice. It's handy, easy to use, nice assessment tool. The children like Barnaby Bear anyway, and that would go down well.
Thank you. So, the resource review recommendation for today is Barnaby Bear Key Activities book from the BBC. If you want further information on any of the products you've seen in today's programme, you can get it from our website, which is teachers.tv/resource review. Or to get in touch with us, you can email resourcereview@teachers.tv. So, all it remains me to do is to thank our panel and thank you for joining us. Goodbye.